Was there a moment where you thought you were going to die?
They said that you have 3 to 6 months left. Now you decide whether you want to play cricket or you want to go for treatment. The tumor was between my lung and my heart. We didn't have a choice but to go to America and get treated. People often relate me to my 6 sixes. I'd rather them relate me to, winning the World Cup.
Where did Pai Chaka start?
Well,
Where?
I remember I got he out in the test match and he was not happy about it. He's gone to a press conference and they asked him about how does it feel to get out to Yuvraj. He was like, he's a Pai Chaka, he chucked pies at me.
Left arm, chicken and mushrooms, steak and kidneys.
And I remember...
You bowled a few.
Yeah. I bowled a few and I remember next test match you got 100 and you were like, shut up now.
We had many amazing battles on the cricket field. Just hopping back to where it all started, is there anything that you can pick out from your childhood that made you feel and think, I'm going to be Yuvraj Singh, I'm going to be the guy that wins a World Cup with India?
My father played for India.
Yes.
And he didn't play for a long time.
Yeah.
And he wanted to pursue his dream through me. And just like making sure that I'm getting up for training, 6 in the morning, till 8 in the night.
So hold on. So you used to get up at 6 in the morning to go and hit cricket balls. Your dad was ruthless in saying this is the dynamic that needs to happen for you to be successful.
Yeah, he just said that you got to work hard 8 hours a day, as simple as that. And and then probably he took the garden out from the backyard, put a cricket pitch over there.
Wow.
And he would chuck leather balls at me, tennis balls, plastic balls, and I was not allowed to wear a helmet.
And he'd throw short balls, he'd throw everything at you? Yeah. Did you get hit?
I got hit a lot of times, but luckily didn't get hit in my eye. And one day, I remember, came from under-19 tour from England. I was like, these guys are quick, I need to wear a helmet. And he didn't speak to me for a couple of days.
Your dad didn't speak to you? He wanted you to wear no helmet?
Because his idol was Vivian Richards.
Oh, wow.
Like, Viv never wore a helmet. You're not going to wear a helmet. Simple as that.
When you come to the guys like the players that look up to you, the Shubman Gills of the world and Abhishek Sharmas, who is, one of the most tremendous striker of modern day cricket ball, is that why you're quite tough on them as well?
I'm hard in a different way, not how my dad was.
Sure.
Those times were different. I learned the best from him. I felt if there was some indiscipline, don't have to pay any cash if you're late. Just run 20 rounds, 15 rounds. You're not going to be late the next time.
Yeah.
So if they came late to the gym, just, sweep the floor.
Yeah.
Next time you won't do it. So easier way is to, get things done.
How long have you worked with Shubman? How long have you worked with Abhishek?
I think I started working with these guys just before COVID.
Okay.
And obviously I could feel Shubman was up-notch,
He's
one
a star,
step ahead.
Isn't he a star?
Yeah, he already had played 2 games for India.
Okay.
And I could see that the guy's 4 times more hardworking than an average cricketer. So every time I told him something, he would pick it up and put it in his batting. He would adapt very quickly. And he's adapted so quickly, that's why he is where he is. You know?
Abhishek, obviously he's a left-hander like you.
Yeah.
He starts at the top of the order.
Yeah.
That innings that he scored against England at the Wankhede Stadium where he just blew that England bowling attack apart and they ran in and the faster they bowled, the easier he made it look. You must be so proud when you watch somebody who you've worked so closely with perform on the big stage like that.
Oh, definitely. As I agree with you, one of the best T20 innings I've seen. I put him on a process that I say, if you do this in 4 years, you're going to play for India. Think about playing for India, not IPL. I said, and then in 4 years and exactly 3 months, he debuted for India. He understood, like some guys are there, they don't understand how much talent they have.
Yep.
He kind of understood the amount of talent he had.
Yep.
And, if you put in the process, like you and me have done, and the results will show.
There's no shortcuts in sport. There's no shortcuts in life. How do you teach a batter a plan? The modern day player, he gets out there and he is now taught from ball 1, you tonk it. Your guy, Abhishek, he opens the batting for Sunrisers. He opens the batting for India in T20 cricket. And it's just that first ball, he's looking for a 6.
Yeah, I've had a lot of arguments about that, to be honest.
You don't like it?
I don't mind going after bowling. right?
Yeah.
I just feel that nowadays they don't put a price on the wicket.
No, there's no price.
There is no fear of getting out.
Zero.
If there's no fear of getting out, you can go after any bowler, whether it's bowling 150 or 140.
Yeah.
I remember, like, if I was in this place, I would not step down to somebody bowling 145 clicks.
Yeah.
These guys are stepping down to guys who are bowling 150 clicks.
Yeah, they are.
So, they're not afraid to go after them. And that's the generation we've come to.
Yeah.
So now the T20 plan is that I'm not going out to there to get 100 of 60 or 70 balls. If I play 20 balls and score 50 or 60 runs, my job is done.
They want to make an impact. And it's a brand new revolution of play. I mean, the youngsters that I was with the Delhi franchise now in the IPL,
Yeah.
these guys were saying there's going to be a team that scores 300. And one of my first meetings, I said to one of the kids, I was like, shut up. He was like, he looked me in the eyes, he said, someone's going to score 300. So these guys are now real big believers in massive numbers.
I think it's going to happen because the last score is 288, 287.
Yeah.
And,
I think by your guys, Sunrisers.
Yeah, they scored 126 in 6 overs. Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma. That's like stick cricket. That's unreal. And the way, IPL is going or T20 cricket is going is going to happen very soon.
Yeah.
Because you have a super sub now.
That's right. So you can go for long as a batter.
Yeah, you're basically playing with 10 batters, 9 or 10 batters. So you can swing every ball. And I obviously tell Abhishek that if you hit 3 sixes and if you hit 3 boundaries and you take 4 runs, it's the same amount of runs, right? Can you take the risk out?
You're a bit old school.
I know, but I'm just saying that if you want to be consistent, either you create an impact,
Yeah.
but you can also score 100.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You don't have to. The problem is that they want to score 100 or 40 balls or 36 balls. They're not happy scoring 100 or 50, 55 balls. Why I feel Shuman is more consistent in his performances because he takes his time.
He gives himself a chance.
Yeah. And Abhishek is not set up like that. He's like, I'm just going to go after the bowling
But they're
straight away.
two batters that can bat together because one
Yeah.
is a bit more circumspect at the start and then Abhishek is a bit of a dasher. So
Yeah.
they can work together, can't they?
I think it'll be a dynamic duo. I think there's Jaiswal also in the picture, who's
Yashasvi,
also an amazing striker of the ball.
He's a freak.
And one of the guys performing so well in Test cricket.
Yeah.
Early days when you get to perform so well in Test cricket,
Yeah.
one day cricket and T20 is going to be so easier to play.
Yeah.
So I think we just got some really good batters and we're going to see some really big scores in, I don't know about one day cricket, but definitely in T20.
The Switch is brought to you by Duelbits News, and they are giving you a chance to win. There's history in this bat, and this bat can be yours, signed by none other than Yuvraj Singh. All you need to do is subscribe to the channel and drop a comment below. Keep your eyes on our social channels for the winner. Getting back to your career, obviously one of the highlights of your career was, we're talking about smacking the ball, we're talking about stroke play, was in Durban. I was at Long On, and the physiotherapist was in high demand for neck injuries, watching those balls travel out of the stadium in Durban. It's obviously something you've spoken about a lot, but would you say it's spoken about the most in your career? Is it something that everybody knows Yuvraj Singh for? And if it is that a moment that you're the most proud of in your career?
Yeah. People often relate me to my 6 sixes.
Yes.
I rather them relate me to, winning the World Cup. Like for a personal choice for people who don't understand the sport.
Yes.
6 sixes is great entertainment.
Absolutely.
It's a big part of my history and cricket history as well. But I think, winning the World Cup was more special because we won after 28 years.
Yep.
We never won at home. And, I was not feeling well, battle all that. And I just felt that, since kids, winning a World Cup is a special thing.
Yes.
And not many teams except Australia has done that.
Yes.
So I felt that, I feel good about it, but I feel that, winning a world, there's nothing bigger in cricket,
Winning
in one day cricket,
Yeah.
winning a World Cup,
Absolutely.
50 over World Cup.
You talk about that World Cup, you talk about being unwell and feeling unwell. Obviously, one of the things that stands out for me in your career is what happened to you. I mean, I remember seeing you in Delhi when you were going through your struggles. Was there a moment where you thought you were going to die?
Yeah, I mean, when something like that hits you, that's the first thought that comes to your head. And I wanted to go on the Australia tour because I had just started to get my place in Test cricket, sort of to retire, and I was waiting for 7 years to play Test cricket. I was 12th man for 40 Test matches.
Wow,
That's
40
a lot
Test
of time.
matches.
Yes.
That's a lot of carrying of drinks.
Yeah. I was going on the Australia tour, and the physio come and said, "You're not going." And then obviously speaking to doctors, they said that you have 3 to 6 months left. Now you decide whether you want to play cricket or you want to go for treatment.
Wow.
I was like, I'd rather play cricket because I don't know how much time I've left to play Test cricket.
So 3 to 6 months left to live.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Because the tumor was between my lung and my heart, and it was suppressing on the nerve of my heart. So he said you could have a heart attack if you don't do chemotherapy. And then obviously they sent me for treatment.
You went to the US.
Went to the US, probably made the right call.
Was there a lot of consultation around what the right thing to do is? Because clearly you would want to play cricket, but I'm sure your mum would have said, you've got to get treatment.
I think we all were in a bit of denial.
Okay.
We all, to be honest, didn't take the right steps in the start.
Okay.
And obviously as it got worse, we didn't have a choice but to go to America and get treated. Luckily, went at the just in time. When I was in my 3rd cycle of chemo, I was like, this is impossible. It was really hard to go with something like that. But again, I was determined to come back and play. While the whole world thought that I won't be able to play again. And I was very determined that I'm going to come back and play for India again.
How much work are you doing with the foundation, UV Can? How many kids have you got in the system? How many lives have you saved? I mean, it's just the most remarkable story.
Yeah, I mean, thank you first of all for your support, because every time I needed you for the foundation, you've always been there.
Of course.
And we started slowly, but now we have a team of almost 24 doctors and we are about 40 people. And we work on cancer treatment for below poverty line children.
Yep.
Kids whose parents have lost all their funds in their treatment cannot go back to education. So if they live, they need money for education. So we sponsor their scholarships. We fund their treatments now.
Yeah.
And we've done more than 500 children and more than 300 scholarships.
Amazing.
And we want to do more and more. And we just want to know that people who cannot afford cancer back home because it's expensive treatment.
Absolutely.
We want to support those children, and hopefully tomorrow when they become something, they're proud of the journey that I have inspired them to become today. Because I believe that no matter how hard the treatment is or how bad, how dark it gets, I believe if you believe in yourself, you can come back to where you were.
You talk about the darkness, let's talk about the light. Was there that moment when you got the all clear, or was there a result that came back and you were like, you absolute beauty, I'm clear of cancer?
I mean, I remember Dr. Einhorn's words when I walked in the hospital and all my tests were done. He said, "You will walk out as a man who never had cancer." That's the first thing he said to me.
It gives me goosebumps.
Yeah, that was the first motivating words from
that doctor.
From Dr. Einhorn, and gave me that assurance, which motivated me to go through my treatment. And I remember when I finished my treatment and he said, we're just going to monitor for 15 days. I mean, there were some complications and then you're free to go. And I remember the doctor says, you're good to go. And he said, you can go back and play cricket again.
No
I
way.
was like, cheers to that, doc.
No way.
Yeah, I remember opening a glass of red wine. I was not allowed to drink alcohol. And I was like, I'm going to have
done.
it.
I'm having it.
I'm having it. And that was like, it was just, I don't know how to explain it in words. It's very hard to put that emotion.
Yeah.
Just, it's like, getting a second life.
Yep.
And my mother was a rock. You know,
Absolutely.
she never shed a tear, and she was there 24/7 looking after me. Close friends came and supported me. But I think the one thing that made me bounce back was competitiveness, and I wanted to come back and play for India, where everybody said it is not possible.
And you did.
And I did. I scored my highest one-day runs against England.
You love batting against us.
And yeah, that was like, the self-belief that when the world says you can't do it, you show them you can.
I couldn't say it any better. So we're going to close on that. I'm going to thank you very much for coming today. I'm incredibly proud of you and everything that you've
Thanks,
been
Dave.
through, everything that you've achieved.
Thank you.
And you're a shining light. You really are a shining light, because not many people have the journey that Yuvraj has been on, and not many people come out of it on the positive end the way this man has. So thank you so much for joining us on The Switch.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
You're a true warrior. And thanks for scoring all those runs against us. Man, what a guy. What a guy.